Do you, as a father, do this to your son without realizing it? Do you constantly criticize him and put your own unfulfilled dreams on your son's shoulders? Without realizing it, this situation turns a young child's world, which should be full of love and support, into a dark loneliness. Growing up with the pain of not being good enough in his father's eyes, the child pushes his own desires and identity to the background, while a deep hunger for love and appreciation builds up inside him. And when he starts to feel appreciated from the outside, he doesn't understand what it's like at first. But don't worry, in this video, I'm going to talk about 10 things a father shouldn't do to his son. If you're doing them to your son, you'll also learn how to fix them. Subscribe to the channel and like the video before we get to the video. Let's get started. Constant criticism can have a negative impact on your son's emotional and psychological health. It is much more constructive to adopt a positive approach and give feedback. Let us examine this point in more detail. The harm of constant criticism: lack of self-confidence. When your son is constantly criticized, his self-confidence decreases. He begins to question his own abilities and worth. Anxiety and stress. Constant criticism creates high levels of anxiety and stress. Your son becomes afraid of making mistakes and starts to enjoy life less. Poor relationship quality. Children who are constantly criticized by their fathers find it difficult to develop a healthy and trusting relationship with their fathers. Negative self-concept. Your son will feel inadequate and worthless because of the criticism. This in turn affects the person's overall life satisfaction and happiness. Alternative and positive approaches. Positive feedback. Focus on the positive aspects of your son. Praise and encourage him when he succeeds. For example, "You did a really good job today. I'm proud of you." Constructive suggestions. Turn criticism into constructive suggestions. Focus on solving problems together. For example, "You can work on this project some more and get a better result, and I can help you." Empathy and understanding. Approach your son by understanding his feelings and perspective. Try to understand his difficulties and support him. It can be effective to say, "You are having a hard time with this. I understand you. How can I help?" Supporting self-esteem. Support your son to love and respect himself. Help him realize his own values and abilities. Being a positive model. Set an example with your own behavior. Have a positive and constructive attitude, and show your son the right ways to behave. Adopt an approach such as, "Making mistakes is a human thing. The important thing is to learn from them." 2. Withholding love. Love and care are the cornerstones of a child's emotional development. Withholding love and attention can cause serious emotional scars in the long run. Let's examine this point in more detail. Withholding love. Harms and alternative approaches. The harm of withholding love: low self-esteem and lack of self-confidence. When your son does not receive love and attention, he may feel worthless and inadequate. This leads to a lack of self-confidence. Emotional emptiness. Lack of love can create emotional emptiness in your son, and he may try to fill it in other ways. This can increase the risk of turning to harmful habits. Relationship security. Lack of love and attention weakens the father-son relationship. This can lead to a lack of trust and communication problems. Depression and anxiety. Love deprivation can have negative effects on emotional health, causing problems such as depression and anxiety. Alternative approaches. Expressing love. Verbal expression. Express your love to your son often. For example, use phrases like, "I love you very much," or "I am proud of you." Physical expression. Physical contact such as a hug or a touch on the shoulder can show your love. Even such small touches can make a big difference. Spending quality time. Activities together. Discover common interests to spend time with your son. Doing sports, playing games, reading books together will strengthen your bond. Regular time. Spend time with him only at certain times every day or on a weekly basis. This shows how much you care about him or her. Listening and understanding. Listening attentively. Listen carefully when you talk to your son. This way, you can better understand and support his feelings and needs. Empathic approach. Try to understand his point of view and allow him to share his feelings. Validate his/her feelings with sentences like, "I understand you. You are right about this." Support and encouragement. Positive guidance. Support your son's interests and goals. Encourage and guide him to succeed. Show that he cares about others. An important part of showing love to your son is to show compassion and concern for others. Set an example for your son to help others and develop empathy. These approaches will support your son's emotional development and further strengthen the bond between father and son. Children who grow up in a loving environment tend to be happier and more successful in life. 3. Imposing their own dreams. Fathers can sometimes impose their own dreams on their sons, even with good intentions. However, this can limit the child's freedom and individuality. Let us examine this point in more detail. Imposing your your own dreams. Harms and alternative approaches. The harm of imposing your own dreams. Impediment to individual development. Description: your son does not have the opportunity to develop his own interests and passions. This can prevent him from being an authentic individual and discovering his own talents. Consequence: an individual who is unable to establish his or her own identity may experience lifelong dissatisfaction and identity confusion. Lack of intrinsic motivation. Description: following your dreams instead of realizing his own dreams can lower your son's intrinsic motivation. Consequence: lack of intrinsic motivation can negatively affect the potential for happiness and success in the long run. Emotional distance. Description: pressure from you may cause your son to emotionally distance himself from you. The father-son relationship may weaken. Consequence: the weakening of the emotional bond can lead to trust and communication problems. Uncertainty and indecision. Explanation: your son may struggle to find what is right for him as he tries to conform to your expectations. Consequence: instances of indecision and disorientation may become frequent throughout life. Alternative approaches and pathways. Understand your son's dreams and goals. Listen to your son to understand what he wants and what he is passionate about. Respect his thoughts and dreams. Ask questions. Ask questions to find out what interests him and what his goals are. For example, what excites you about this? Be supportive and encouraging. Positive approach. Support and encourage your son to achieve his own goals. Keep a positive attitude and celebrate his achievements. Provide guidance. Instead of leading him, guide him. Let him make his own decisions and take responsibility. Set flexible goals. Common goals. Together with your son, set realistic and flexible goals. Make sure that these goals are in line with both of your expectations and hopes. Provide flexibility. Be flexible about goals. If your son's interests change, be open to updating your plans accordingly. Evaluate successes and mistakes together. Positive feedback. Praise your son's successes and help him learn from his mistakes. In both cases, make him feel that you are there for him. Learning experiences. Emphasize that mistakes and failures are learning opportunities. Instill in her the courage to learn from mistakes and try again. Share your own dreams, but don't impose them. Set an example. Inspire her by sharing your own dreams and achievements. However, don't pressure him/her to fulfill these dreams. Be a source of inspiration. Support her own dreams and goals. Present your own experiences as inspirational stories rather than expectations. Helping your son realize his own dreams allows him to develop his character and talents. The best support is to respect him and be with him on his journey. Violence can cause serious harm, both physically and emotionally, and negatively affect the father-son relationship. Let's examine the article, Resorting to Violence, in more detail and explain how to proceed. Resorting to violence. Harms and alternative approaches. The harms of resorting to violence. Lack of trust. Description: violence undermines your son's trust in you. Lack of trust undermines the foundation of a healthy father-son relationship. Consequence: your son may become emotionally distant from you and have communication problems. Emotional and psychological trauma. Description: physical or emotional violence can cause long-term emotional and psychological trauma in your son. Outcome: these traumas can lead to depression, anxiety, and other mental health problems later in life. Behavior problems. Description: children who experience violence may develop aggressive and antisocial behavior. They may adopt violence as a solution. Outcome: this can lead to problems in their social relationships and school life. Lack of self-confidence. Description: violence damages your son's self-confidence. It can make him feel worthless and inadequate. Consequence: lack of self-confidence can negatively affect his/her personal and academic achievements. Alternative and constructive approaches. Being calm and patient. Description: handle your problems with your son in a calm and patient manner. Try to control your anger. Method: calm your anger by breathing deeply, taking a short walk, or being quiet for a while. Empathize. Explanation: try to understand your son's feelings and perspective. Empathize to understand his difficulties and emotional state. Method: validate and support his feelings by saying things like, "I understand how you feel in this situation." Building positive communication. Description: communicate openly and honestly with your son. Use positive and constructive language when talking to him. Method: allow him to share his ideas and feelings by asking questions such as, "I wonder what he thinks about this," or "How can we solve this problem?" Solving problems together. Description: try to solve problems with your son together. Let him be involved in the solution process. Method: ask questions such as, "How can we solve this problem?" or "What is your suggestion?" and let him contribute to the solution process. Providing support and guidance. Description: support and guide your son. Be a positive role model to support his development and happiness. Method: celebrate his successes, help him learn from his mistakes, and reassure him. These approaches will protect your son's emotional and psychological health and contribute to a healthier and stronger father-son relationship. Approaching with love, understanding, and empathy instead of violence will have much more positive results in the long run. Inconsistent behavior. Inconsistent behavior can be confusing for children and can make it difficult to develop a healthy relationship. Let's examine inconsistent behavior in more detail and explain how to deal with it. Inconsistent behavior, harms, and alternative approaches. The harm of inconsistent behavior: lack of trust. Description: inconsistency undermines your son's trust in you. When your behavior becomes unpredictable, you cannot provide him with security and consistency. Result: your son may find it difficult to trust you and other adults in the world. Behavior problems. Description: children learn through consistent rules and expectations. Inconsistency can make it difficult for them to understand what behavior is acceptable. Consequence: this can lead to your son having discipline problems and not learning the right behaviors. Emotional fluctuations. Description: inconsistent behavior can cause your son to experience emotional fluctuations. Unable to anticipate your reactions, he may be under constant stress. Consequence: this stress can lead to emotional instability and insecurities. Distance in the relationship. Explanation: inconsistency can create a distance between you and your son. When you fail to meet his emotional needs, his attachment to you may weaken. Consequence: the father-son relationship may be damaged and emotional bonds may be weakened. Alternative approaches and pathways. Being consistent and fair. Description: be consistent and fair with your son. Be clear about rules and expectations. Method: set clear rules and enforce them consistently. Help your son understand why rules are important. Open and honest communication. Description: communicate openly and honestly with your son. Listen to his thoughts and feelings and respond appropriately. Method: use positive and constructive language in your conversations with him. For example, encourage him to share his ideas with questions such as, "I wonder what you think about this," or "Can we talk about the consequences of this behavior?" Setting clear expectations. Clarification: make sure your son clearly knows what is expected of you. Clearly define his roles and responsibilities. Method: make sure he understands his expectations by asking questions such as, "What are your tasks this week?" and "What are your responsibilities in this regard?" Rewarding positive behavior. Description: praise and reward your son's positive behavior. This encourages him to repeat the right behaviors. Method: praise his positive behavior with phrases such as, "This is really positive behavior. Congratulations." Applying discipline consistently and compassionately. Description: apply discipline in a consistent and compassionate manner. Be careful to understand and empathize with the child's feelings, even when punishing him, her. Method: approach him with phrases like, "Let's talk about the consequences of this behavior and see how it can be better." These approaches will increase your son's emotional safety, facilitate the disciplining process, and contribute to a healthier father-son relationship. Adopting a consistent and fair approach will lead to much more positive results in the long run. Constant comparison. Comparison can be harmful if it goes beyond its intended purpose because it can undermine children's self-confidence and make them feel inadequate. Let's examine the article "Constant Comparison" in more detail and explain how to proceed. Constant comparison, harms, and alternative approaches. The harm of constant comparison: lack of self-confidence. Description: comparison undermines your son's self-confidence. Comparison with others can make him doubt his own abilities. Consequence: your son may start to feel inferior to others and lose self-confidence. Jealousy and competition. Description: constant comparisons with others can fuel feelings of jealousy and unnecessary competition in your son. Consequence: this can lead to problems in his social relationships, making it difficult for him to build healthy relationships. Stress and anxiety. Description: a child who feels constantly compared to others may experience high levels of stress and anxiety. Consequence: this can negatively affect his or her academic and personal achievement. Emotional distancing. Explanation: your son may emotionally distance himself from you in comparison. He may feel ununderstood and worthless. Consequence: the emotional bond between father and son may be weakened, and the relationship of trust may be damaged. Alternative approaches and pathways show your son you care. Description: make your son feel unique and valuable. Appreciate his talents and achievements. Method: use phrases like, "I am proud of you," "You did a great job," to praise his achievements and show your appreciation. Give positive feedback. Description: give positive feedback. Focusing on your son's strengths, highlight his positive behaviors and achievements. Method: make supportive comments such as, "You did a really good job today," or "You should continue to develop your skills in this area." Support him/her in setting his/her own goals. Description: help your son set his own goals and make plans to achieve them. Method: sit down with your son and set goals in areas of interest to him and create a roadmap for him to achieve these goals. Encourage him with phrases such as, "I am really happy that you are making progress in this area." Emphasize achievements and effort. Description: appreciate his/her efforts as much as his/her achievements. Make her feel that you value her effort. Method: praise his/her effort and perseverance with statements such as, "Even though you failed, your effort was great." Approach with empathy and understanding. Explanation: show empathy and understanding for your son to find his own path and develop. Take his feelings and thoughts into account. Method: show that you value his feelings and thoughts by saying things like, "I really care what he thinks about this," and "Go at your own pace and I will be there for you." These approaches will increase your son's self-confidence, reduce his jealousy and stress levels, and help make the father-son relationship healthier and stronger. Focusing on your son's own achievements and efforts, rather than constantly comparing him to others, will have more positive results. Lack of attention can negatively affect children's emotional and mental development. Active interest and participation makes children feel valued. Let's examine the article, "Staying Disinterested," in more detail and explain how to proceed. Staying indifferent, harms and alternative approaches. The harm of indifference: low eigenvalue. Description: children who do not receive enough attention from their parents may feel worthless. This leads to a lack of self-confidence. Consequence: children may be less successful in social relationships and academics and may become individuals who constantly seek approval. Emotional emptiness. Description: lack of attention leads to children's emotional needs not being met. This emotional vacuum can lead to problems later in life. Consequence: emotional emptiness can lead to the development of problems such as depression, anxiety, and addiction. Communication problems. Description: parental apathy makes it difficult to communicate effectively with children. Children who lack attention may find it difficult to share their feelings and thoughts. Consequence: communication problems lead to problems within the family and in other social relationships. Low achievement and motivation. Description: children may experience loss of motivation due to lack of attention and support. It becomes difficult for them to set goals and make an effort to achieve them. Consequence: low motivation can negatively affect their academic and career success. Alternative approaches and pathways. Spending quality time. Description: spend quality time with your child to show that you care about him/her. This makes them feel special and important. Method: do activities together. For example, play games together, read a book, or go for a walk. These memories will strengthen the bond between you. Active listening. Description: listen actively to your child's conversations. Try to understand his or her feelings and thoughts. Method: make eye contact and give him/her your full attention while talking to him/her. Show that you value him/her with statements such as, "I really care about what you think," and "Thank you for talking about this." Providing emotional support. Description: provide emotional support to your child. Understand his or her emotional needs and take care to meet them. Method: be sensitive to his or her emotional states. Acknowledge his/her feelings and support him/her with sentences such as, "I understand how you feel about this," and "I am here for you. I will always support you." Supporting education and development. Description: closely monitor your child's educational and developmental needs. Give importance to supporting his or her academic achievements and personal development. Method: participate in school activities, projects, and hobbies. Actively contribute to his/her educational life and provide guidance when needed. Establish regular and open communication. Description: encourage your child's self-expression through regular and open communication. This strengthens mutual understanding and bonding. Method: have daily chats and one-to-one conversations, allowing him/her to share his/her thoughts and feelings. Stay in touch with him/her with questions such as, "How was today?" and "I wonder how you feel about this." These approaches will support your child's emotional health and development and make your relationship stronger and healthier. Attention and support contribute greatly to children feeling valued and self-confident. Imposing perfectionism can cause children to feel constant pressure to succeed, which can negatively affect their emotional and psychological health. Let's examine the article, "Imposing Perfectionism," in more detail and explain how to proceed. Imposing perfectionism. Harms and alternative approaches. The harm of imposing perfectionism. Extreme stress and anxiety. Description: when your child is under constant pressure to be perfect, they may experience high levels of stress and anxiety. Consequence: this can negatively affect his or her emotional well-being and lead to a decline in academic achievement. Self-confidence issues. Description: expectations of perfectionism can damage your child's self-esteem. He/she may see mistakes as unacceptable and lose confidence in himself/herself. Consequence: this can lead to a lack of self-confidence and a constant need to seek the approval of others. Emotional and physical fatigue. Description: children who are imposed perfectionism may become emotionally and physically exhausted in their constant striving to succeed. Consequence: this can negatively affect their overall health and lead to chronic fatigue. Feeling unworthy. Description: the expectation of perfection can reinforce your child's own feelings of worthlessness. They may begin to ignore their own potential and feel constantly inadequate. Consequence: these feelings may negatively affect his/her motivation and desire to improve himself/herself. Alternative approaches and pathways. Setting realistic goals. Description: set realistic and achievable goals for your child. Take into account his/her abilities, interests, and limitations. Method: support him/her with sentences such as, "This goal is appropriate and achievable for you," and help him/her set realistic goals. See mistakes as learning opportunities. Explanation: emphasize that mistakes are natural and part of learning. Guide your child to learn from their mistakes. Method: encourage accepting and learning from mistakes with sentences such as, "It is natural to make mistakes. The important thing is to learn from them." Give positive feedback. Description: give positive feedback on your child's achievements and efforts. Focus on his/her positive aspects and encourage him/her. Method: use supportive phrases such as, "You did that really well," or "Your effort is really impressive." Not making comparisons. Explanation: do not compare your child with others. Judge him/her on his/her own potential and focus on his/her personal development. Method: encourage your child with sentences like, "You have your own talents and strengths. You should be proud of them," providing emotional support. Description: meet your child's emotional needs and make him/her feel that you are there for him/her. Prioritize his/her emotional health. Method: support your child with statements such as, "It's okay to try and sometimes fail. It's your happiness and health that matters." These approaches will help your child feel valued, increase self-confidence, and develop in a healthy way. By approaching your child with love and understanding instead of pressure to succeed, you can protect their emotional and psychological health. Limiting the roles. Setting strict limits on children's roles and identities can negatively affect their development and self-confidence. Flexibility and openness offer important opportunities for children to explore their abilities and interests. Here, let's examine the article, "Limiting Roles," in more detail, and let's explain how to follow a path. Limiting roles. Harms and alternative approaches. The harm of limiting roles. Developmental disability. Explanation: setting strict roles can prevent a child from exploring many different skills and interests. Conclusion: the child may not be able to fully develop his potential by growing up in a limited area of experience. Self-perception problems. Explanation: strict limits on roles can make it difficult for a child to find and express their own identity. Conclusion: the child may feel inadequate and stuck before he can complete his social and emotional development. Loss of self-confidence. Explanation: the fact that the child is not allowed to operate in areas in which he is talented or interested damages his self-confidence. Conclusion: the child's self-confidence may decrease, and he may experience a loss of intrinsic motivation. Social and emotional problems. Explanation: children with restricted roles may experience difficulties in social relationships and emotional bonds. Conclusion: the child may have difficulty forming healthy relationships with other people and may develop emotional problems. Alternative approaches and ways that can be followed. Recognize flexibility. Description: give your child the flexibility to try out various roles and skills. Allow him to explore his interests and talents. Method: encourage him to try different activities. Support him to work in various fields, such as art, sports, science, supporting him to find his own identity. Explanation: support your child to find and express his own identity. Accept that he is an original and unique individual. Method: take the time to understand his emotional and mental needs. Praise your originality with phrases such as, "I like you to be yourself," and "I'm proud of you." Giving positive feedback. Explanation: praise your child's success and effort Encourage him by giving positive feedback. Method. Encourage him with statements such as, "It's great that you've shown how talented you are at this," and celebrate his achievements in different fields. Being role models. Explanation. Be an example with your own behavior. Be a role model for him to try different roles and skills. Method. Inspire him by sharing your own interests and experiences. Give him courage with statements such as, "I wanted to try different things in my time. I support you to try too." To communicate openly and honestly. Explanation. By having an open and honest communication with your child, try to understand his thoughts and feelings. Method. By talking to him regularly, be flexible about the role and his expectations. Support him with sentences such as, "I wonder what you think about this," and "I'm here to support you to find your own way." These approaches will help your child to discover himself, increase his self-confidence, and support his development. Instead of limiting roles, you can contribute to him becoming a healthy and happy individual by providing him with various experiences and opportunities. Not listening can make children feel worthless and lonely. Empathy and careful listening are the keys to building a healthy and strong father-son relationship. Let's examine this article in more detail and tell us how to follow a path. Not listening, harms, and alternative approaches. The harm of not listening. Emotional isolation. Explanation. Parents who do not listen to their children's thoughts and feelings can cause them to feel emotionally isolated. Conclusion. This can lead to the closure of the inner world of the child and emotional withdrawal. Lack of self-confidence. Explanation. When children feel that they are not being listened to, they may feel worthless and insignificant. This situation leads to a lack of self-confidence. The result, the child's self-confidence decreases, and it is difficult to find his own value. Insufficient communication. Explanation. Children who are not listened to by parents may have difficulty expressing their feelings and thoughts. This also leads to communication problems. The result, it becomes difficult to establish healthy communication between parent and child. December. Emotional emptiness. Explanation. Not listening can cause the child to experience an emotional emptiness. This emotional emptiness can also lead to problems in other areas of the child's life. Conclusion. Emotional emptiness can lead to the appearance of problems such as depression and anxiety in the future. Alternative approaches and ways that can be followed. Use active listening techniques. Explanation. When talking to your child, focus completely on him and use active listening techniques. Method. By making eye contact, carefully focus on what he is saying. Show that you are listening to him by using phrases such as, "I want to repeat what I heard to make sure that I understand you," or "Keep sharing your thoughts. I am interested in you." Show empathy and understanding. Explanation. Try to understand your child's emotional state and show empathy. Accept his feelings and thoughts. Method. Show that you value your child's feelings with statements such as, "I understand how you feel about this," or "It's really important for me to listen to you." Communicate openly and honestly. Explanation. By having an open and honest communication with your child, allow him to express his thoughts and feelings. Method. Communicate regularly and openly with him with sentences such as, "I wonder what you think about this," or "Your opinions are very valuable to me." Be patient. Explanation. Be patient when talking to your child and don't rush him. Give him the opportunity to fully express his thoughts and feelings. Method. Show patience to his speech and explanation by using expressions such as, "I'm taking my time with you," and "I'm ready to listen to you." Emphasize the importance of listening. Explanation. Teach your child the importance of listening and sharing his thoughts. Make him feel that he trusts you and that you understand him. Method. Emphasize the importance of listening and proper communication to him with sentences such as, "It is very important for me to share your thoughts and feelings." These approaches will help your child to feel valued and understood, increase self-confidence, and establish a healthy communication. Listening carefully and showing empathy contribute to strengthening the father-son relationship and making it healthier. Watch this video over and over again, take notes, and try to apply these teachings in real life. These teachings are really very valuable and important. Empathy will help you put yourself in your son's shoes and understand him better. If you found this video useful, subscribe to the channel and give your valuable feedback in the comments section. And as I always say, keep improving and learning. See you.